So here's a question for you. How do you identify whether a stock or an ETF is a dividend trap? And most importantly, how do you know if it's suitable as a long-term investment? Now, covered call ETFs have become extremely popular over the last few years, accumulating billions of dollars in assets under management in a very short amount of time. But certain high-income ETFs are subject to a very specific type of risk that poses a major problem for investors, and I briefly touched on this in one of my previous videos. But today, I'm going to break that down even further and start at the beginning with one of the most important aspects of successful long-term dividend investing. And this is where things get really interesting, so stick around until the end because I'm going to be revealing some hidden dangers of certain popular high-income ETFs that everyone should look out for. On a side note, I just made a video on how much money an investor would realistically need to completely live off their portfolio's dividend income, whether it's qualified dividends or non-qualified dividends. And in this video, I compare two very popular ETFs and go over their tax implications in detail. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I highly suggest that you check it out. But of course, before you start worrying about taxes, you have to make sure that you find the right dividend ETF. Okay, so let's start with the most important question. How do you simplify the process of finding a dividend trap? Well, the answer is right here. This chart should be the first thing that all income investors go to before buying a dividend stock or ETF, because in my opinion, it reveals the true colors of an investment. And this is the yield on cost chart. The yield on cost chart is a graphical representation that shows the yield an investor is receiving on their original investment. And in this chart, you're getting two very important pieces of information: the change in dividend yield and the trend in net asset value. So let me explain. Let's take a look at the right side of this chart. This number here represents the dividend yield an investor would receive had they purchased this fund on this date, and this would be the inception of the fund. And as you go to the left of the chart, you see the percentage fluctuating. This is basically showing you what your current dividend yield is relative to when you first purchased the fund. For example, had you purchased this fund 6 years ago, the dividend yield that you would be receiving right now is around 8.6%, even though the current yield of the fund is 12%, and that is because the fund has experienced NAV depletion. So the rule of thumb is that if this chart is trending in a heavy downwards direction, then it is a dividend trap. If, however, it is trending in a sideways or in an upwards direction, then it is a solid dividend investment. And it's really that simple. Now, in order to access this chart, I personally use the Seeking Alpha platform. It's really easy. You simply search the ETF of your choice, and once you land on the summary page, click on the Dividends tab, and from there you'll see a series of sub-tabs. Select dividend yield and scroll down to find the yield on cost chart. The number one thing you have to look out for when finding a dividend investment is whether or not you are sacrificing net asset value. NAV depletion is one of the most dangerous aspects of dividend investing, and I said this time and time again that a dividend yield should not come at the sacrifice of NAV. So if you have a yield on cost chart that is trending heavily in a downwards direction, the steeper the slope, the faster your net asset value is depreciating. Now, if the chart is trending sideways or in an upwards direction, the net asset value of your investment is either remaining constant or increasing. Now, a few months ago, I made a video on what I think are the top 4 high income ETFs. And every single one of these had either an upward trending yield on cost chart or a relatively flat chart. I've also put out a number of warnings on certain very popular dividend ETFs, putting a heavy emphasis on this chart. And until this day, I am still shocked that these investments have such high assets under management, collecting millions of dollars in annual fees when they are clearly an inferior investment and should not be used as a dividend generating instrument. Okay, so now that you understand the first step in finding a suitable dividend investment, now we have to talk about a very troubling risk that certain high-income ETFs are subject to that could be detrimental to a portfolio. Now, as I mentioned before, some of the most popular high-income ETFs are covered call ETFs. And for those who don't know, these are investments that use a covered call strategy where they sell calls against their underlying holdings to generate premium income, which is then distributed to investors in the form of a dividend. And in this video, I'm going to be comparing two very popular covered call ETFs that have almost identical holdings but differ in one single aspect of their strategies. And this small difference reveals which one is the better long-term dividend investment. This chart right here represents the total returns of QYLD and JEPQ. And these are two ETFs that sell calls against the NASDAQ 100. So first things first, let's take a look at their yield on cost chart. When looking at QYLD, you notice a downward trending chart in comparison to JEPQ, which has an upward trending chart. So immediately you have a very strong indication of which one is the better investment. QYLD clearly suffers from NAV depletion, while JEPQ is able to accumulate NAV. But how? They're both covered call ETFs on the same index. Now, unfortunately, this chart doesn't give us an accurate picture because their inception dates are very far apart. QYLD has been around for over 10 years, while JEPQ has been around for less than 2 years. So you have to dig a little deeper. And if you guys want access to these amazing tools along with in-depth fund analysis, market insights, ETF breakdowns, and more, then I highly suggest to sign up with Seeking Alpha. You guys can use my link to get $30 off their annual premium plan. These prices do go up over time, so definitely take advantage of it before it's gone. Just as a reminder, on January 6th, if you sign up with Seeking Alpha using my link down below, you will get access to Stephen Cress's live session where he will be revealing his top 10 stock picks for 2026. And just like in 2025, 2024, and 2023, you will receive a deep dive into each stock, giving you a thorough understanding of the thesis and its potential going forward. I've already registered myself and I'm genuinely excited, and I hope to see you guys there. QYLD sells at-the-money call options with around 1 month to expiration to generate premium income, which is then distributed as a dividend. But JEPQ sells 5 to 15% out of the money call options, also with around 1 month to expiration. So the most important detail here is at the money and out of the money. When you sell calls against a stock or an ETF, the most important detail is the strike price that you choose, because the strike price affects the amount of premium income you collect, or in this case, the dividend yield and the amount of growth you allow to take place. By selling at the money call options, you're choosing a strike price that is equal to the current price of the underlying index that you're tracking. So in the case of QYLD, if the QQQ currently sits at $400, then you are selling a call option at a strike price of $400. But now in the case of JEPQ, they're selling call options at a strike price that is above the current trading price of the underlying index. So for example, if the QQQ currently sits at $400, this fund is selling a call option that is at a strike price of $420. Now, there is a very important detail that you have to remember here, and this is where I feel many investors fall into a dividend trap. Anytime you sell an option contract, whether it is a call option or a put option, the closer you are to the current trading price of the underlying stock, the more premium income you will collect. Now, if you go in the money, then you will be collecting a lot more income. However, there are no covered call ETFs that sell in the money call options, because then you're just guaranteeing that you will lose money in the long run. But we'll discuss that in another video. So that is also why QYLD has a higher average dividend yield than JEPQ at 11.98% as opposed to 9%, as well as the fact that the dividend yield of QYLD is rather consistent as opposed to JEPQ, which fluctuates around 1 to 3%. However, by selling a call option that is at the money, you are completely restricting any form of capital appreciation, and this is where the dangers begin. When you look at QYLD's price return, which excludes its dividend distribution, you see a very troubling case of NAV depletion, losing more than 31% since inception. But JEPQ, on the other hand, has been able to accumulate NAV since inception, although the fund was rather unlucky because it was established at a very bad time, which was the 2022 bear market. So now, what is the major risk here? This chart represents the price movements of QYLD and JEPQ side by side. Now, let's say in 1 month the Nasdaq 100 suffered a 5% drop. Both of these funds will suffer similar drops in a sudden downward movement because, like I said, they both have the same underlying holdings. However, if there's a sudden recovery, only JEPQ will be able to capitalize on it because remember, it is selling out of the money call options. QYLD will only be able to capitalize on the high premium income from the call option. Now, its price return will increase by a little bit because the fund does allocate a portion of the premium income it collects towards accumulating net asset value, but the effects are minimal. So if we see another move to the downside, both ETFs will capture the same downward move. But JEPQ had recovered while QYLD never did. So at this point, JEPQ is down by 5% and QYLD is down by around 9 to 10%. And if we see another recovery, then just like last time, JEPQ will be able to recover while QYLD will stay flat. And if this pattern persists, you can see how quickly a fund that is selling at the money call options will deplete net asset value. This exact same concept applies to other popular high-income ETFs like SPYI and XYLD, where SPYI sells out of the money call options on the S&P 500 index every month, but XYLD sells at the money call options. And SPYI does use an extra strategy where it purchases call options to boost total returns, but I will go over that in detail in my next video. Now, there are certain ETFs that are in a much worse situation than QYLD, such as TSLY, which is a covered call ETF on Tesla. If we simply consider our first step and look at the yield on cost chart of the ETF, it is probably one of the worst charts I have seen thus far. And the crazy part is that this fund was established not even 2 years ago, and it has already lost nearly 70% of its net asset value from the time it was established. Now, a key detail here is that using a long-term covered call strategy on an individual stock that is subject to a lot of volatility is simply a mistake, because covered calls restrict capital appreciation but capture 100% of the downside. So if a stock is extremely volatile to both the upside and downside, it will suffer heavy NAV depletion. On top of that, I have also warned about other high income ETFs such as QQQY, which has lost almost 30% of its net asset value just over the course of 7 months. And I will go over these funds in detail so that you guys can fully understand why this happened, but I will leave that for my next video. And that is all for this one. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Discussions of ETFs, investing strategies, market updates, or specific funds are general, not tailored to your financial situation, and should not be relied upon for decision making. Investing involves significant risks, including total loss of principal, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I am not a registered financial advisor. My content reflects personal research and publicly available information. I may earn affiliate commissions from mentioned products or links disclosed per FTC guidelines, but these do not influence my opinions. Always consult a licensed financial professional and verify information independently. By watching this, you agree I am not liable for any losses or consequences from your actions. International viewers should consult